Well, hello and welcome to the racecourse. That's a good start, isn't it? I don't know where I am. Welcome to the racecourse and welcome to Wrexham I Follow. I'm Mark Griffiths. I'll be joined soon by Andy Morrell and Mia Roberts, and we'll be bringing you full live coverage of this massive match. Wrexham looking to get into the championship for only the second time in our history. 4 games left at home to Bristol Rovers, who are fighting for their lives. It's an intriguing matchup, more than you might think, looking at, second against 21st, as I'll go through in a moment. But yes, first I need to mention that if you want to, of course, there'll still be another 5 minutes or so of me and Andy's pre-match build-up on Wrexham's YouTube channel with Chris Malaband. Of course, you can go across and watch that free. But as for this match, well, like I said, the stakes are exceptionally high for both sides. Bristol Rovers have lost their last 6 matches. They dropped into the bottom 4 last weekend, and they are in turmoil. Burton have overtaken them and have a game in hand on them as well. Having said that, they are likely, if we're not careful, to give us a greater challenge than you might expect. Quite simply because they seem to be playing better against the good teams. Indeed, they were very unlucky not to get something out of a 2-1 loss a week and a half ago against Birmingham City. They gave them a real fright and lost, having not been given what looked like a clear penalty when it was 1-1, about 20 minutes left, and also then conceded a late penalty, which certainly Bristol Rovers weren't happy about. So yeah, whichever way you cut it, Bristol Rovers have the capacity to trouble Birmingham City. And if they can do that, they can get points in games. Having said that, of course, their form is horrible, and Wrexham will hope that it continues to be so. Wrexham, having been disappointing last week in the 0-0 draw at Wigan, no other way of putting it, really. We weren't able to trouble their goalkeeper at all. But that rock-solid defence is a massive part of what's got us here. And once again, it held firm. Yet another clean sheet to add to the collection. And I at least made sure that we didn't lose. But we're only a point ahead of Wycombe. So these 4 matches are massive. I mean, when you look at it on paper, we've got a much better run-in, much friendlier run-in than Wycombe. Not that that necessarily counts for anything. But certainly, you would think Wycombe have got 4 games left against the teams that are 3rd, 4th, 7th and 8th, all of whom are going for promotion. If they win all 4 of those, fair play. It's in our hands. Charlton is the only team left, of course, that we're going to play against, who have ambitions to go up. And the other 2 games against Blackpool and Lincoln are games against teams who are going to finish mid-table and have nothing to play for. But you've seen over the course of the last 3 years, teams do have something to play for against Wrexham. They love to bloody our nose and seem to raise themselves for the occasion. Wigan, for example, their media guys after the game saying it was the best they'd played all season, which surprised me, if I'm honest. And I'd rather do a 0-0, but again, the reaction of the players and the fans shows Wrexham are a scalp worth taking, and there's no question our 4 remaining opponents look to do just that. 2 changes to the Wrexham side, and attacking changes as well. Don't forget, of course, this traditional Easter weekend double-header, which is always seen as a massive milestone in the season, may mean that there's a little bit of rotation going on here. But the 2 alterations, well, George Dobson's been having a bit of a rough ride lately in terms of injuries, and so he is given a break on the bench. Elliot Lee, who's looked sharp in the last 2 matches coming off the bench, comes in his place. And also, well, something a lot of fans have been calling for, Ryan Barnett and Ryan Longman both starting. Rather wondered if we might do that. McLean's had a few knocks lately as well, plus 2 games in 4 days. So we're going to start with Ryan Barnett on the right, Ryan Longman on the left. So that Wrexham side, Arthur Okonkwo, of course, is in goal. The 3 central defenders, Max Cleworth, Owen O'Connell and Lewis Brunt. The wing-backs, Barnett on the right, Longman on the left. In centre of midfield, Matty James with Elliot Lee to his left and Ollie Rathbone to his right. So a little alteration there. Rathbone will shift in central midfield to the right-sided position. And then up front, Sam Smith and Jay Rodriguez. The Wrexham bench is strong, as you'd expect. Callum Burton, Tom O'Connor, Dan Scarr, James McLean, George Dobson, Stephen Fletcher and Jack Marriott. So plenty of options to manage the game from the bench for Phil Parkinson. Bristol Rovers have made a couple of changes as well, and it'll be interesting to see just how they line up. As I said, they're having a troubled time lately, but they did show against Birmingham that they've got something. Now, when they lost at Exeter last weekend, by all accounts, there were certain elements of the team that just didn't quite work right. They had a lot of the game, but got hit with a couple of sucker punches. And so they've made changes. And I'm just wondering whether they might go to a 3 at the back. Taylor Moore has come in, normally a full-back. But maybe they stick with 4 at the back. The other alteration is very interesting, because Luke Thomas comes in. Now, Thomas came on as a sub on the left wing against us and looked very, very good when we drew at the Memorial Ground earlier this season. In fact, the other player making way, Clinton Mola, who's on the bench, he also had an interesting game against Wrexham. He had a stinker. He really had a rough time of it. And different manager now, but you just wonder whether people in the club have said, right, Ryan Barnett caused major problems for Mola, but Thomas was able to turn the tide and get at Wrexham down that flank. Wonder if that's been part of their thinking. So their lineup, Jed Ward in goal. Across the back, if they stick with a 4, Jack Hunt, James Wilson, Connor Taylor and Taylor Moore. Interesting, I mean, Wilson and Taylor both have barely missed a minute this season, despite the fact that they're down the bottom. Double pivots would be Romain Sawyers, St Kitts international, and Matt Butcher. And then in the second line on the flanks will be Rule Satiriou and Luke Thomas. In between them, Kofi Shaw, really promising young attacking player who I'll mention more about in a moment. And then up front for them, Gatlin O'Donker. The substitutes bench, Matt Hall, Clinton Mola, Shaq Ford, Isaac Hutchinson, Jamie Lindsay, Grant Ward, the other player who's made way, and Scott Sinclair as the captains are now in the middle of the pitch with the officials. And yes, there's a few interesting things to note about the Bristol Rovers side. One of them is O'Donkor up front, a big Irish target man, and under the current manager Inigo Calderon, they have been going direct to him. Trouble is, that Birmingham game a week and a half ago was his first match for 3 months, and by all accounts he is really struggling for fitness. The problem is he is their only fit striker, really. A big target man Martin, they brought him with a lot of experience, he's out for the season. And so as we're about to get things underway, yeah, Calderon's hands are tied in terms of selection. They've had serious injury problems for quite a while. More about them in a bit. Let's see what happens. Wrexham kicking towards the cop end in the first half. Mia and Andy are up here with me, and it's we just got to win this, haven't we? No matter how.
Yeah, I think the W is the all-important thing, isn't it, by the end of it? But I think the team selection we've spoke about down on Matchday Live is that he's been real positive, real brave, and he's going for it. It was the team that I picked last night, and I hoped he'd play. Just going on the front foot and just trying to, hit a team while they're down, really, and go for them.
Straight from the kick-off, O'Donkor goes back to the keeper, and Ward knocks it long. Ball headed firmly away by O'Connell, throw on the halfway line. I'll get it over and done with now. Bristol Rovers have Jedwood in goal. That's one for our international audience. Throw on the halfway line then. Well, it was supposed to be. Connor Taylor pulls out of it and has a second goal, throwing it down the line. Doesn't reach O'Donkor, and it's headed clear. Smith can't get to it. The ball bobbling in midfield, lifted over Wrexham's defence. Good backpedaling by Cleworth, and then Barnett's caught late there. Wrexham are furious about that challenge. They want to see a card for Thomas, who, as I was saying in the build-up, was notable in the game between the two sides earlier in the season. He certainly caught him late, didn't he?
Yeah, Ryan Barnett, all eyes on the ball, and definitely feels that one. He's back up on his feet now, although happily to say, but he could be so important in this game, couldn't he, Ryan Barnett? Massive chance for him today to try and cement himself back in this team after what was an unbelievable start to his season.
If that's 30 minutes in, that challenge, I think that's a yellow card. So because it's 30 seconds in, it's not. He catches him late.
It drives me crazy. Why do you have laws of the game if they don't apply at certain points of it? So that's a yellow card every day of the week, isn't it? He's late, he's high. I don't know. Anyway, Barnett is okay. He doesn't get booked, says Rodriguez. That's nice and brilliant take by Rodriguez when it was pinged straight back to him by Barnett while he was still in the air. Elliot Lee tries to feed it through for Smith. This is a good start by Wrexham, penning Bristol Rovers then. But now here's the exciting youngster, Shaw. Redonka's made a run ahead of him. He works out wide to the right-hand side instead, and Wrexham have got their shape back now in their own half. Ball lifted over the top, and that will bounce through, watched by Brunt for the goal kick. Interesting the Rovers that Shaw has been one of the bright spots for them. Young talent. They played him on the right wing at Exeter, and home to Exeter, and by all accounts it didn't suit him at all. They had Grant Ward, who's been dropped down to the bench playing attacking midfield, who's more of a box-to-box midfielder. Now they've done what maybe seems a bit obvious, and they've got him at the point of midfield, and he's going to be one to watch out for.
Yeah, he's definitely a talent, isn't he? It's just, you know, you're asking a lot of a 17-year-old when you're relying on him to help get yourselves out of a relegation scrap.
But here's Longman's first involvement, but he and Rathbone completely misread each other and apologise. Rathbone wanted the ball played back to feet. Longman putted it behind the defence, goal kick.
I'm not sure when you're taking over a club whether you change him from 3 to a 4 at the back constantly. He's constantly searching for that result, that one result to get you going. But if you keep changing, then players don't really ever get into that rhythm of understanding and those relationships that you need. And it seems that Calderon is in that position at the moment. He's just sort of trying to find it. And yes, you probably go to a 3 against us just to try and match us up.
Yeah, so they have having played with a 4 last week. As Rathbone gets a foot in, ball goes back towards the keeper. And he hits it long through the middle. O'Connell looking to get in ahead of Sotirio, can't manage it. And now is Elliot Lee under pressure. Bristol Rovers working hard to put pressure on the ball. Barnett does well though to work it inside, and James quickly out to Lee, who's running at his man. Longman bursts outside him. Well weighted pass to Longman, is it? Good tackle that coming in from Moore, but Lee and Longman have still got it on the left. Lee clipping it in, and the defender's just beaten Rodriguez too. It's a loose ball into the box, an important foot in by Wilson to get it clear. And now here's Shaw again, good ball for Sotirio. Good challenge by O'Connell, throw to Bristol Rovers. They look very energetic, Bristol Rovers, don't they? They're really looking to work hard with and without the ball.
Yeah, but that's what we need to see from a Wrexham point of view. Elliot Lee on this side, combining with Longman. Hopefully Ollie Rathbone on the other with Barnett. Just making sure we've always got that overload. That's where we can be so dangerous out wide.
Yeah, but also the pass in from Lee, looking for the point man that we spoke about last week that we never really had, would it, where we could play it into a striker's feet on that point and maybe get a midfielder off the front. First 5 minutes we've tried, Elliot Lee's looked for it, and Rodriguez was coming, just got it a little bit short.
Yeah, that Lee-Longman combination as well just looks really interesting to me. We haven't really seen it much, of course, with Lee being injured a lot of the time since Longman's been back in and then on the bench. As Wrexham have a throw just short of the halfway line. Brunt throws down a flank. Rodriguez clattered into free kick. Easy decision that for the referee, Martin Coy. So free kick to Wrexham, left hand side, about 40 yards out. The centre back slowly making their way up as Lee stands on it, and we're not going to go in long. We're going to try and build instead. Brunt back to Lee again. Longman's ahead of him. Bristol Rovers set the trap, and the pass to Rodriguez isn't quite accurate enough. Shaw playing an early ball, look for Redonka. Lovely soft feet by O'Connell not just to read the game and intercept well, to bring it under control and get Wrexham on the front foot once more. Barnett back to the halfway line. Rathbone put under pressure there. Not sitting in, Bristol Rovers. They're pressing quite hard. They've got quite a high line here as well, as Cleworth is allowed to carry that ball forwards. Drilled ball in is inaccurate, easily intercepted by Wilson. I've got to say, though, as the ball goes out for a throw, I just mentioned the high line and then the lack of pressure on Cleworth in midfield. That feels like a dangerous combination. Don't put pressure on the ball with a high line. We're going to have time to find Sam Smith running in behind, aren't we?
Yeah, I think Calderon's spoken about it in the last few weeks, how he doesn't want to change his sort of philosophy at all. He wants his team to be brave, but I just think in that press, and at times even when they're on the ball, they just haven't got that quality, and sometimes you've just got to be a little bit robotic and just go back to the old-fashioned way of doing things, in a more traditional sense, especially when you are where you are in the table.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? He certainly inherited a poor situation, shall we say, as the ball's knocked long and it's flicked on. Something for Odonka to chase. He's done well to get there. Cleworth knocks her off him for the goal kick. Siriu disagrees, but that's a decision. But yeah, absolutely. It's a tricky situation for Inigo Calderon, who is it's his first job in first team management. And it's a tricky situation in general at Bristol Rovers at the moment, who had this takeover. I maybe we'll chat about this at half time. I mean, the fact of the matter is that they are, the feeling of Bristol Rovers fans is that the owners are wealthy. Hang on, let's just come back to that, because Longman on the level of the edge area, left-hand side, pulls it back. Elliot Lee spins the ball in on. Rodriguez just slipped as he tried to get there. I think it was just out of his reach. Bristol Rovers clear to the halfway line. O'Connell again wants to bring it down rather than just get rid of it. Feeds it down the line. Longman stumbles but still scraps us brilliantly to poke it to Lee while he's on the floor. And now there's space on the right-hand side. Rovers pressed hard, but they didn't get the ball back. Barnett now has got Thomas isolated. Cuts inside, pulls it back. Matty James to the edge of the area. Barnett tries to nip past Thomas. Good challenge by Taylor. Great pressure this, and again O'Connell again gets applause as he brings it down in the centre circle. Feeds it on the right. Rathbone inside. Cleworth 25 yards out. They're backing off him. He's in the box. He hits it. Oh, it's a great save. Wow, Jedward. Brilliant one-handed save. The shot was deflected. That's a hell of a good stop.
Shot on target.
Hey.
Gets in. First 10 minutes. No, but what happens is Max goes in and steps in. He makes the extra man. And he's sort of wanting to pass it, but it just opens up for him. He keeps going. He gets it on his right foot. Hits. Deflected. Going in that near post. Good save.
So an away swinging corner. Right-hand side. Wrexham facing all 11 Bristol Rovers players in the box. It's swept. It's gone out of play. We've been there before, haven't we? Oh, well.
Well, we've got no left footer in the team when McLean doesn't play, so it has to be an away swinger. Normally you go for the driver, though, don't you, rather than the curler. But obviously they've seen something again, that one round the back that has been so successful for us this season just goes out of play.
Rathbone was the culprit. Yeah, same with Bristol Rovers. It's quite interesting listening to some of their fans' podcasts. It makes it sound very different from what Wrexham have got right, or should I say the current owners have got right, as O'Connell looks to be pushed, nothing given. Cleworth for the header. Shaw beats James in the air, but Brunt gets clear. And as well, I thought he'd found Smith. Maybe Rodriguez didn't get a shout because he's knocked it out of his path. Elliot Lee with a good foot in. Longman wins it well. Lee unlucky, tries to help around. I think Smith would have been offside. He's making that run again. Lee instead plays it down the flank. It's very good covering by Moore to get it partly clear. And Brunt checks out nicely. And Wrexham shifting the ball around quickly. O'Connell helps it on to the right to Cleworth. It's been a rainy day. The pitch should be slick. Barnett taking on Thomas again. Back to Cleworth. And Bristol Rovers have got their shape back now. Just slowing it down. O'Connell over the halfway line. Wrexham looking bright early on. Here's Barnett. Cleworth's outside. Barnett cuts inside easily again. Squares it. Lee's got space here. Tell Tom to shoot. He does. But he took a bit of time. Shaw did well to get the block. Corner. But we're getting at them, aren't we?
Yeah, and Elliot Lee looks really lively, which is what we want to see. But I just think he almost got stuck in between what decision to make. The shot was definitely on at one point, but also Ryan Longman was in acres of space on his left-hand side, and he just doesn't quite make up his mind, takes maybe one too many touch, or just puts it out in front of him. To be fair, the Bristol Rovers defence come out well and block it.
I think if he takes it onto his left, he gets his shot off, but because he wants it on his right foot, that's where the covering defender and midfielders coming across. Yeah, he could have gone out to Longman early, but doesn't.
Rathbone with the in-swinger to the far post. Keeper can't get there. Oh, it's a crucial defensive header as Cleworth was attacking it. And then the shot comes back in by Rathbone. Another fantastic save by Ward. Rathbone curled it in, the keeper unsighted, just got his fingertips to it. Well, fair play to him. That's a hell of a good save.
Yeah, keeper started really well, because that's just floated to the back post. It's more of a shot than a cross, than a shot. But it's definitely going in. Going to put it in at the back post, and it's a good little fingertip save out for another corner.
Here's the away swinger. Let's keep this on the island. It's stood in. That's okay now. Lee unmarked at the near post. Got up. Oh, Smith, beg your pardon. Didn't get able to reach it. Wrexham again now, though. Ball swept in. Well blocked by Thomas. Barnett is available as Rathbone cuts in on his left foot to stands a high one around the penalty spot. Comfortable header clear, though, for Moore. Wrexham looking to get on the front foot once more, and Lee is sold short by Longman's pass and catches his man. Free kick. Yeah, I better make this point before I forget about the ownership thing. Rob and Ryan, what they did so well, of course, was come in and say, we don't know about football, we're new to this, we're going to appoint good people. Whereas the Q80 takeover that happened partway through last season, I think there's a sense that they came in and tried to run everything themselves. And as a result, it hasn't gone so well. I don't think there's any particular doubt about their intentions. It's obviously is often an issue. As Longman wins the ball back rather luckily, he got stuck between his feet, but Wrexham can't keep hold of it. I don't think there's any particular suspicion that they're up to no good at all, as so many club owners are, but that maybe they've invested heavily but not wisely. As here's Rodriguez, great work, very brave, fighting to win it, and now he's got the free kick going his way.
Well, I thought it was handball as well. I thought he just put his hands up in front of his forehead to push it, but the ref looked to play an advantage because he thought it broke through. But a little tug back and it's a free kick, and Wrexham keeping the ball again.
Well, I think Rodriguez and Smith have already had more touches than they did in that Wigan game last week. Really good to see him getting involved.
Sorry, I misread that then. I thought he'd played a worldie of a pass. He hadn't. Yeah, they're much more involved in it, and Bristol Rovers are trying to get out and press us, but we're forcing them back into the edge of their area with ease, really, at the moment.
Yeah, well, it just seems the three centre midfielders are really going and getting sucked in towards the ball, so it's our third centre midfielder, Lee or Rathbone. If they can just be really patient and stay out of it, can they then get on the ball and then create, because all the three midfielders for Bristol get sucked across to the ball.
Example of Wrexham pressing well then. Longman was straight onto Hunt, who tried to turn, ran out of space and went off the pitch. Throws to Wrexham on the halfway line. Brunt down the line. Rodriguez flicks it in beautifully. Smith now shoved in the back. Free kick. Taylor descents, but he hasn't got a leg to stand on. Free kick about 35 yards out, left of centre. It's a chance again for the centre backs to go up, as Bristol Rovers look to hold a line on the edge of the D. Rathbone's got a nice inviting little area to drop it into behind them. Calderon is telling him to get out more. And they have a little bit. I just want that to sow the seeds of confusion amongst the defenders. Rathbone then signals, steps up, floats it to the far post. Rodriguez is under it, drops loose. O'Connell, foul given. His shot was deflected just wide anyway. Smith just peeled off into an offside position and blocked off some of the defenders backpedaling. And
well, they defended it really high. The high line that normally you'd be roughly on the edge of the box there, giving no space in behind, but they're really high, and then they drop in. They're sort of asking for the ball to be dropped in behind. I'm not really sure where the referees or what he's seen there. Not sure that's a free kick, but they're leaving a big area for Rathbone to hit, and the Wrexham players can go and attack it.
Yeah, I think he penalised Rodriguez, but it doesn't look to be much contact, as Longman's pass isn't a good one to Brunt. He's charged down, throw goes Wrexham's way. But Wrexham certainly on top at the moment. against the Bristol Rovers side, who, as I said, have lost their last 6 and plummeted into the bottom 4.
I bet the fourth official was delighted today to see Parkinson sat in the stands and not in his right ear. So it looks odd, doesn't it, that he's not there?
Yeah, I've forgotten about that. Yeah, absolutely. Steve Parkin is there as the ball is switched nicely by James Barnett, tackled well by Thomas, who, as I said before the match, it was really impressive against Wrexham when he came off the bench. He's won it well there, and Barnett's pulled him down. Well, the ref can't book Barnett. He should. But after what Thomas did to Barnett in the first minute, yeah, he's not going to speak to him. He pulled him to the floor when he got past him.
Yeah, they're even now.
Exactly. Yeah, Thomas was really good going forwards when he came off the bench in the second half at Bristol Rovers. Interesting to see how he'll cope as a wing back. Certainly so far, Barnett's when he goes inside him.
Did he get man of the match for them?
Coming on, didn't he? Yeah. Barnett's getting inside him really easily when he's don't think he's trying to get round the outside of him yet. Anyway, Wrexham have to defend first. Holding a more orthodox line on the edge of the box. Sotirio is standing in an offside position, hoping he won't get picked up for any seconds. The ball is floated into the goal mouth and nodded down in the goal mouth. That's a huge block that, as it looked like Odonko was going to score. The ball comes back out into midfield. It's a nice ball by Sawyers, played in the area again. Odonko beaten in the air by O'Connell, who ends up all over his back. The Bristol Rovers fans shout for a penalty. The players didn't, though. I don't think it was. Odonko maybe making a bit of a back for him. But good pressure there from Bristol Rovers. The ball's played back into the centre circle. Moore feeding it across. Thomas now, chance to run at Barnett again, level the edge of the area. He's got a potential pullback, and he plays it. Pull back again, Sawyers, inaccurate pass. Rathbone's done well to intercept. That's a really good spot to find Longman, and he's pinged it to Lee. And Lee over the top for Smith, but it's overhead. Drilled clear by Ward. But yeah, that combination, I like the look of it down the left. Longman and Lee threatening. Here come Bristol Rovers again. Let's work backwards to the halfway line to Taylor. And Sawyers, the midfielder, just tidying her up back to his keeper. Sawyer's partner in midfield, Matt Butcher. As the ball's not long, that's a nice idea for Sotirio, who manages to keep her in. I think he should have done a bit better with that. He seemed to get there. Wrexham work their way out of trouble very nicely. Elliot Lee squeezes it back out to the left flank. Bristol Rovers still committing players forwards, pressing hard. Matty James drills it against his man, and it's a goal kick. They are really committed to putting bodies in our half and putting pressure on us. Fair play to them.
Well, the first thought when Moore gets it in this right back, right centre half position is that their Shaw is going into, Sotirio is going into those channels down the sides, because they know that Longman's going to come up to Hunt, and then Brunt is going to have to then take one of the midfielders, and if two are running, then they're going to have a chance to get free.
I must admit, I think the reason for the minute's applause has passed me by is Wrexham go over the top. Sam Smith does well to put out for a throw and stop it going for the goal kick. I do apologise. I feel like last week I saw something I've forgotten, and I apologise. If anyone can let us know and ask Wrexham, that'd be great. And we'll explain the applause. There's Wrexham fans making really good noise. They're right behind the team who've made a strong start. Still no goals though, 20th minute. Throw in, drops for Lee, 35 yards out. There's space again in the middle of the pitch. Longman head across to give the angle, but Sawyers worked hard, sticking with Lee. And Wrexham build again. Brunt on the left now. Sawyers again looking to hold him up. Lee, nice first touch, opens his body and pings a switch for Barnett. Barnett nods it on. It'll be taken easily though by Moore. And now a chance maybe for Bristol Rovers to come forwards. Ball drilled to the halfway line. Heavy touch by Odonko. Good work by Cleworth. Nicks it from him. And Smith to keep the ball moving. Wrexham have it at the back now with O'Connell. Stepping forwards. Chips over the top. That's easy for Taylor. As Smith is going behind. Poor clearance though. And Barnett again makes a lateral run. Here's Lee once more. He's going to hit it left footed. Smith tried to get a touch on it. Or Rodriguez rather. It's a goal kick. It was an attempted shot and then he's into an assist.
Well, that was the touch that Lee should have had last time when he takes it onto his left foot, takes it away from the midfielder coming across. Does strike it, doesn't quite catch it, but you never know. One of the strikers following in, and it goes through Rodriguez. And Taylor behind him. And just out for a goal kick.
Now Jedward is just tying his laces, it seems. Waste a little bit of time. Because Bristol Rovers...
They've not stopped it for a boot change, Mark.
Wow,
good refereeing.
This is a proper ref. A donker it is, who's gone to the side of the pitch to change his boots. And so Bristol Rovers down to 10 men for the moment due to footwear choices. Sotirio, difficult one to take, but actually Connor's got the final touch there. And the ball goes for a throw to Bristol Rovers. Calderon's on the side of the pitch saying, slow it down. The donker's nearly ready to come on. And here he is back on the pitch. Shouldn't they take 30 seconds? It's just as logical as being punished for being kicked by taking 30 seconds off the pitch. So it's a long throw in for Wrexham to handle. Taylor Moore will take it. Everybody back defending as Moore throws it looping to the near post, and Brunt mistimes his jump, but it comes through easy for a Conquer to take. Smith wants it early. I think he didn't deliver it because a donker was able to stand on him and stop him delivering. But it was the sort of situation he could have tried it.
Yeah, it was definitely on, wasn't it? I think that's why there was that frustration in the crowd, because they saw it. Arthur probably did as well, but like you say, a donker just cuts it off.
Now then, here's Lee again. Longman's made a run inside to try and clear a path for Lee, who spins nicely and gets away from his man. Carries on in the box, feeds it back just behind Rodriguez. And Thomas is able to clear. Wrexham putting good pressure on, but it's not quite falling for him in the box at the moment. Brunt under a lot of pressure. Looked like a foul. Ref plays a good advantage. And Brunt switches. Cleworth helps it quickly on. Rathbone on the right. Barnett is ahead of him. Matty James waits in the centre circle. Barnett now driving forwards down the right as Cleworth, who takes over. Wrexham trying to shift it around, drawing Bristol Rovers players to them and setting up a possible switch, or just working something for Cleworth to deliver. He tries to cross, blocked well by Thomas, and Rathbone scrapping well, wins it, gets ahead of Sotirio and keeps possession. It's a bright start by Wrexham, and they've worked the keeper twice. As it was nice moves up front then. Smith just making a lateral run, and Rodriguez trying to run into the gap he created, but O'Connell hasn't gambled with the ball on that occasion. And now he comes out. Rodriguez drops off. O'Connell plays the diagonal for Longman. Good ball. Clever header inside. Lee now. There's space on the edge of the box as Lee takes on his man. Good tackle that though. Moore stood his ground. Good touch by Longman. Just keeps the ball moving. Something Wrexham are doing well. O'Connell in the centre circle. Carries it forwards. Feeds a good ball to Rathbone, who works it back to Cleworth. Wrexham dominating possession, probing. Longman's made a great run in behind. O'Connell's seen him, but it was well read by Hunt. And again, Wrexham have it again on the halfway line, just over the halfway mark of the first half. Incessant pressure here as Wrexham just look to work out a way through. Brunt has a glorious ball. Smith gets there ahead of the keeper. Tight angle, goes round him, has to cut back again. Back to Longman. Can he hit it? Oh, he's got it all wrong. Well, Ward again did well, came out really quickly, didn't give Smith the angle for the shot, and yeah, Longman's attempt to curl it into an open goal with defenders between him and goal was well off the mark.
Well, it's a great run and a great pass, and Smith does get the first touch. If he could hook it with his left first time, probably the better option, but he had to then take a second touch. Ward scrambling around in his box. Then the ball back to Longman, like you said. I think he's just got to go with a bit of whip, try and get it in over the top of the defenders that have retreated, but just dinks it over the bar. What a pass by Brunt though. Good movement by the front two.
Yeah, fantastic ball that, wasn't it? Here is Brunt with the ball in his hands. Looking for Rodriguez, who's pushed around. It goes beyond him. Longman follows up the second ball, heads down the line for Smith, who's holding it up nicely. Plays the ball, is unlucky. Just too little power on it to put Longman cutting in around the defence. And now it's held up well by Donker, who's won a throw-in off O'Connell. Just inside the Wrexham half, right-hand side. They're certainly showing heart, Bristol Rovers. The Wycombe game is still 0-0 at Bolton, of course. Short throw, Sawyer's back to Hunt, and Bristol Rovers go back into their own half. Vic Schutz likes Andy saying about them not stopping the game for a boot change. Yes, quite. As the pass inside, looking for Butcher is inaccurate. Cleworth gets there, the midfielder just slipped, and Wrexham have it back on the edge of the area. O'Connell wants to get things going quickly. He's looking really progressive with the ball. Lee helping it on to Brunt. Longman is ahead of him. On the halfway line now is Matty James onto his right foot in the centre circle. Bristol Rovers have dropped off, not looking to press in the Wrexham half now. They've got into their defensive mid-block. James just looking to control play to Brunt. Longman taking on his man, beats Hunt brilliantly, cutting inside, gets to the corner of the box, goes on the outside and wins a corner. Great acceleration that, wasn't it? Really put pace into the move.
Well, his little jab step to the left looks like he's going to take it down the line. Drops the shoulder and pushes it inside. Completely wrong foot's Hunt, and he's off, skips past it. Good pace, acceleration, and managed to get a corner.
So it's an in-swinger for Rathbone to take in front of that weird little section now, because they've taken down part of the fourth wall stand in preparation for building the new stand. There's an awful lot of sand and aggregate behind there. Ball swept to the far post, nasty one. Ward again gets a good punch on it. Elliot Lee is tackled, but it comes back out to Barnett. He loops one in. Smith nods it down nicely, just taken away from Rathbone. And then a shot from Cleworth, brilliant save, Rodriguez offside. It ends up with Rathbone scoring. There was, I think, the crowd shouting for handball at some point in that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was on first viewing, but Ryan Barnett does really well, put that ball straight back in. Can we cause them problems? And it's a great strike from Cleworth, I think, isn't it, on the edge of the box. He's had a couple now. I think he fancies it in this game. But it just comes back in, and Ollie Rathbone and Jay Rodriguez just stood in that offside position. But another chance.
Well, it was end of January, Max last scored, I think, Mansfield away. Could do with somebody cropping up and nicking one while we're on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a much better performance than last Saturday, but having said that, let's get the goal and then we can start thinking about putting Bristol Rovers to bed. As Longman wants it early, it's played back to Okonkwo. That handball shot's not handball, I agree, looking at it. It was when the ball was played back in by Barnett, Smith nodded it down. It took a touch off a defender, took it away from Rodriguez, clearly on the chest as Rodriguez buffeting his man. It's half cleared. Good tracking back though. And as a result, Longman can hook the ball back in. Inaccurate though, easy for Jed Ward, who's had an excellent start. Of course, Bristol Rovers started the season not letting many goals in, but they lost Josh Griffiths, their excellent goalkeeper, in January. And I've got to say, Ward, who's playing a dangerous game here, because he's had the ball in his hands for a long time, is having a superb start to the match. Was O'Connell fouled then by Sotirio? It looked like it, nothing given. Thomas lifts it down the left, looking for Sotirio. Cypriot, who's one of the few players who's looked sharp for Bristol Rovers this season. And the ball's prodded on by Sawyers, though it's inaccurate. And now it's Okonkwo on the ball. 30th minute, still 0-0. O'Connell picks it up. Thank you to those who asked Wrexham were pointing out, you're quite right. There was that horrible accident where two young lads were killed in Wrexham this week. They were Wrexham fans. And so obviously our thoughts are with their families. Here's a good ball by O'Connell to Lee. He tries to send Barnett in behind Thomas, with Thomas sticking to his job. Ward sticks it out of play, throw on the halfway line.
But it's exactly where we want Elliot Lee. It's exactly what we want from our back three, stepping in, play into the feet of Lee, who's behind the three midfielders, and then can he find that pass to one of the wing backs or the two strikers? Just didn't get it quite right there.
And then Rathbone latches onto it, runs into the box. Important tackle. Well judged by Taylor. If he'd misjudged that as Rathbone was going past him, he could have caught him. As it is, Thomas brings it to the halfway line. Barnett holding him up, has to go backwards. And now here is Taylor again. Bristol Rovers recirculating it round the back. Ball fed in and Shaw managed to help on. Now he's got space bursting down the right. Odonka attacking the far post. Butcher bursting into the area as well. It's a clever pass inside as well by Shaw. Chance to shoot on the turn, squeezed wide. But that was a chance for Butcher. Like I said, on loan from Wycombe. Could have done a favour for his parent club there.
Yeah, it's a massive chance. I think he's got to do better, to be honest. But Wrexham just getting caught on that counter. We just don't win the first two. And then they just get a few men over. It's a really nice little ball inside from Shaw. And then, like you say, Butcher just on the spin. Just doesn't quite wrap his foot round it.
Yeah, it was a chance, wasn't it? And Shaw did well. That's a good foot in by Taylor. And Bristol Rovers have got the ball back. And Taylor was up the pitch now, the centre-back. In fact, here he is trying to feed the ball in for Shaw. He doesn't find him, but Cleworth can't hold on to it. And O'Connell has to stretch and put it behind for a corner. Bristol Rovers asking a few questions of Wrexham here.
Yeah, and this is the danger. They just ask those questions and it just makes the crowd here a little bit nervy. Change of atmosphere. That's not what we want.
It was Barnett just on his heels a little bit when the ball got played into him. Just gives them a little bit of a lift up. And I think Okonkwo could have just dived on the cross as well, but miscommunication. Goes out for the corner.
Yeah, he committed himself, hadn't he? But O'Connell stretch out a leg, put it behind. Here is the away swing and corner, it's in! Calderon celebrating wildly in the dugout. Great ripped delivery and a glancing header across Okonkwo, who had no chance. It went inside the far post and Bristol Rovers take a shock lead.
Well, it's Moore that gets free in the box. It's a brilliant corner because it's the away swinger, but it's really driven and he gets away and it's a brilliant glancing header into that far corner. Don't know who he gets away from, but it's really the first time Butcher shot that they've got into the Wrexham half, really, and we find ourselves one down.
Yeah, he really found himself a lot of space with that diagonal run from the edge of the box, didn't he? Butcher ripped it in. Great header. And Bristol Rovers are looking to pull off a real shock here. First goal we've let in on a Saturday since the 1st of February, believe it or not. So Wrexham, as Bristol Rovers are very slow getting back into their own half. The ref is talking to the players about that. So here we go again. The Bristol Rovers fans making all the noise as Cleworth stands it up. Rodriguez scrapping for it. The ball drops for Lee, works it wide. Barnett taking on Thomas, who trips him again, right in the corner of the box.
Yeah, well done, Ollie Rathbone. But just watching that corner back, it's really poor from a Wrexham point of view. I'm not sure if they just get caught out by a little bit of blocking. We've seen that a number of times this season. But both Jay Rodriguez, Owen O'Connell can't get anywhere near that ball. And they're the two normally we rely on in those situations.
I got to see Thomas giving a free kick away there, considering that both he and Barnett have been given a free one. I think he's a bit lucky not to get a yellow, but it's a free kick. Level of the edge of the area, just about a yard outside, right-hand side. So a great position for Rathbone to rip it in. He's waiting for the go-ahead. The ref's going to have a look in the box first. Everyone back naturally for Bristol Rovers. This Rathbone waits patiently. Gets the go-ahead. Rathbone steps the run out very deliberately. Right-footed, ripped over the wall. Good header, that. Powerful header clear by Hunt. Barnett looks to rip it back in. Hunt misses his interception this time, and it's launched clear by Moore. In fact, Sotirio's after that. Longman clears. Scrappy this now. Lee trying to turn away from trouble, can't stay on the pitch. Bristol Rovers throwing. Thomas leaves the ball behind, and the referee is going across to tell Taylor, get across, hurry up, because they've really slowed things down since that goal, haven't they?
Well, yeah, we know exactly what they're going to do from this point, really. I mean, you've got to give them credit to getting in this position in the first place, but they've now got something to hold on to, and for sure they're going to try and do their best to slow everything down. Wrexham just got to make sure we don't get frustrated, keep playing like we have done this first half, because we've had some really good moments.
Ball over the top, Smith holding her up well. The flag stays down, but he's outnumbered, and before he can wait for support, he's lost it. Ward's knocking it through the middle. O'Connell run into by Sotirio, but palms him off and finds Lee. Wrexham a goal down here. as we enter the last 10 minutes of the half. Brunt with a surge down the left, takes him past Shaw, who tackles back. Lee now under pressure, is dispossessed. Shaw's got a runner. Brunt gets a foot in, and good work by Rathbone to chase back Calderon, hopping up and down in anger as Wrexham look to build once more. O'Connell.
They just looked a little bit more lively at times, Bristol Rovers, I think, just in those little moments, little 50-50s, just like a little bit more want in those tackles. Wrexham just got to make sure we get on this ball. Can we move it quicker, catch them out?
Longman is the target as O'Connell drops a great diagonal. Longman now running at Hunt on his left foot, delivers to the far post. Smith underneath it, just got buffeted a little, couldn't win it cleanly. Wrexham have it though with Rathbone. The overlap is on by Cleworth. He cuts back in and then plays the ball in, which is dealt with comfortably by Taylor. O'Connell on the halfway line plays that diagonal again for Longman, who has to sprint to keep that one in, and he does, but it's not possible for him to keep control of it, and cleared again to O'Connell. He looks up at that diagonal once more, but in this time he's not going to play it. Brunt back to Okonkwo. O'Connell now deep in his own half. Again, Longman's looking to make that run. He's pointing into the space behind the defensive line. O'Connell to Rodriguez on the left. Wrexham just trying to move Bristol Rovers around. O'Connell goes over the top, this time to the right to Barnett, who gets a touch on it and uses his pace well to keep the ball in. Snappy pass by Rathbone. Lee has come across to the right to join in. Rathbone left the edgy area. Bristol Rovers again, and midfield's pulled across, but Barnett is tackled. Great tackle back by Barnett. Through to Bristol Rovers by the corner flag. Ooh, this is high stakes stuff.
We've just not been able to get Barney on 1v1, have we, running at him. He's always got his back to Thomas. He's that high that when he's coming off not on the half turn. He's sort of coming backwards, and we want him facing him up and Thomas and getting at him with his skill.
Throwing over the edge of the area. Burton are drawing, so Bristol Rovers, as it stands, have climbed out of the bottom four. Throwing goes Wrexham's way as it's thrown down the line. But it's the Bristol Rovers fans making terrific noise here as they see their side, well, they're certainly exceeding expectations. Good foot in by Matty James. Throw goes Wrexham's way. 35 yards out on the right.
Just got to relax a little bit and be patient. I know that you're behind and you want to chase the game, but we've just got to keep doing what we were doing, because we were keeping the ball really well. We're moving the ball really well. We're getting Elliot Lee on the ball, and we need to keep getting him on that ball in that pocket.
O'Connell lifts it towards Smith in the box. Crucial header away. Wrexham look to press on the edge of the box, but can't get to the second ball. And Matty James tidies up back to O'Connell. O'Connell threading it through the middle. Good pass to Rodriguez, who shows for it. Works it wide. Brunt on the left. Cuts in on his right foot. In the middle of the pitch. Helps it across to Cleworth. The sort of thing Wrexham needs, just pulling this press around. Grinding him down. Barnett drives forwards. But Butcher's come across to help Thomas. Barnett back to the halfway line. The crowd's impatient. They don't need to be impatient. There's a long time left. Good drilled ball by O'Connell. Lee told to shoot again. Finds Longman. Pass got him in his back foot a bit, but he's pulled it back to the edge of the area, and he's picked out Shaw. And that final ball then not quite working for Wrexham. Brunt steps up, puts pressure on Shaw and wins the throw in on the halfway line.
Yeah, it's just that final decision. I just think, again, Elliot Lee can just make it a little bit quicker. Whether he's going to take that shot or give it into Longman, I think the eventual ball he plays out is just a bit behind him, isn't it? It just makes things, again, puts us a little bit on that back foot.
Barnett now, taking on Thomas. Oh, as a miscontrol. Drills and across that Thomas intercepts. Now then, Rathbone can't take it cleanly. Adonka does well to win it from him. Thomas in his own half will slow it down. Butcher feeds it back again, and Bristol Rovers will go back to Ward. It's a scrapping performance by Bristol Rovers as they knock it long. But Longman might have been able to let that go out for a throw. As there is, Sawyer's trying to nick it down. Lee beats him to it. O'Connell, again, we don't need this impatience. O'Connell just takes a moment to have a look, and the crowd are telling him to thump it.
Well, I think it was just the three midfielders. They were just stood literally 2 yards from each other. Nobody looking to try and get into a little bit of space to help O'Connell out.
Ball's pinged across by O'Connell, doesn't find Longman. And I mean, the crowd don't like that, but then the crowd needs to be a bit patient as well, I would say.
Yeah, and I think Calderon actually picked this out as something Bristol Rovers wanted to sort of get at in terms of the atmosphere. And he'll be so happy if this stays the same going in at half time, because you can feel it, that bit of nervousness, that bit of anxiety that we just haven't had, you know, too many big chances since conceding that goal.
Throwing down the line, Sotirio, good determination. Bruns wins it from him. Lee feeding it forwards. It's very tight in there though, and Bristol Rovers have worked their way out of it quite nicely. Shaw down the line, good tackle by O'Connell, throw by the corner flag. But yeah, they're looking at constructive Bristol Rovers when they come forwards, and whereas we've been able to get at them, yeah, we've not got the final surface in enough. And so throw in level edge area, right hand side. Short throw. Shaw is outnumbered, but manages to get it past Lee, and now it's Hunt driving into the box. His cross deflects up into the 6-yard box. Brunt heads it back to Shaw. Hunt now with the chance to put the cross in. Well, he wins the corner. He was going for the nutmeg on Longman. And Wrexham are going to have to defend another set piece.
Yeah, well, hopefully they do better than they did on the last one. Hopefully they've learned, seen what Moore wants to do, where he wants to run towards that front post. It was a great header, wasn't it? The goal, not much I think Arthur could have done about it.
Away swinger then. Shaw will deliver it. Yeah, definitely nothing that Okonkwo could do about that goal, as it's swept in nicely. Ooh, and a defender, attacking player rather, Moore again, got the first contact, but he'd arrived too soon. Cross will come in again. Thomas blocked by Rodriguez. Throw in to Bristol Rovers, attacking position left hand side. Wrexham just need to get their pace. Like I said, until the goal, it was looking good. Just need to get that ball down and play in a similar manner as Thomas gets the ball back from the throw-in, pulls it inside. Butcher, early cross. O'Connell heads it clear on the edge of the box. It's chested down and driven away by Rodriguez accurately. Smith, though, nods it in behind Lee. And then the referee is not fooled by Hunt's attempt to draw a foul off Longman. Here's Lee deep in his own half, driving down the left. Immediately again, though, Bristol Rovers put pressure on the ball, but Lee plays the sort of pass that will get you beyond that press, switching to Rathbone. Cleworth now, by cutting inside, as it would be even more space in the middle of the pitch. Oh, but he rather slow decision making there. He's lost it, and now Bristol Rovers and players up the pitch are getting forwards. Adonkers after this, and it's a good recovery tackle coming in by Matty James to win a throw-in.
Well, nobody's just coming to the ball. They're all running away. When Cleworth chops back inside, that's the ball when to want to come, maybe to bounce, just change the defenders a little bit, but we're all running away from it.
Once again, it's acting like there's not much time left, isn't it? Trying to make runs and hoping that a Hail Mary pass gets through, but they just need to be constructive as they were at the start. As Smith backs into his man, goes down, he's not going to get a foul for that. It's drilled out. Good work by Smith to win the throw. About 30 yards out, left-hand side. As Longman has the ball in his hands. Throws it back to the halfway line. To Brunt. O'Connell. Striding into the centre circle, threads a good ball between the lines again. Lee's made that run, but Barnett had come inside. So Lee automatically played it wide. Barnett's not there, throwing level the edge of the area.
Yeah, it's unlucky. You can see what he's trying to do. Problem here, though, Owen O'Connell's just gone down. Got to hope that's nothing too serious.
Physio's called straight on. The fourth official is ready to show how much time will be added on.
Well, Scar's getting stripped.
It looks like that's
possibly done.
Scar has not been on the pitch for a while, has he? But that's a blow. I mean, O'Connell's been looking with his range of passing to get that ball forwards. One added minute. As last time Scar played was against Peterborough in the Virtue Trophy. Last time he played in a league game was January, when we lost here against Stevenage. But it looks like he'll be getting his opportunity now to influence the push for promotion. Crowd's understandably a bit stilled by all of this. But yeah, O'Connell has been looking to spray the ball around from the back, looking to be ambitious. He's been hitting Lee when he makes those inside runs between the lines. He's running off the pitch.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he's okay then. Nothing against Danskar, but O'Connell has looked in the mood. So he'll have to stay off the pitch 30 seconds, but then there's only a minute of added time, which should start now. Wrexham a goal down here against Bristol Rovers, who've lost their last 6, but certainly haven't played like they're in that sort of form. Throw down the line then by Bristol Rovers. Ball drops off O'Donker. Wrexham down to 10 players. Rodriguez can't hold on to it. And now it's Hunt on the right-hand side. Great runs in the middle by Shaw. Hunt on the halfway line. Doesn't play him in. Sawyers round the corner. Back to him again on the halfway line. He threads a clever pass in for Shaw. And they're moving around really nicely here. Hunt on the right-hand side, 30 yards out. Scoops down the line. O'Donker's dropped out there. Good foot in by Brunt. And now he picks up the loose ball and he draws a foul. Free kick to Wrexham in their own half. O'Connell is back on.
Well, I just think he'll just try and get through till half-time, and then they'll assess him properly. Scar still stripped for putting his bib on, so I'm sure he'll have a decent enough warm-up. He goes to a thorough warm-up anyway at half-time, regardless of whether he's going on or not, so I'm sure that'll be standard for him.
Well, we've had a minute since we restarted, so the ref, in all likelihood, is going to blow. Once Okonkwo makes contact, in fact, the whistle's in his mouth. There you go, half-time in a frustrating first half for Wrexham. 1 goal down. Remember, you can go down to Wrexham's official YouTube channel and see what Andy and Mia made of the first half with Chris Malaband. Or you can hang around with me and I will go through your Ask Wrexham questions. It's very frustrating for Wrexham. While I just take a moment to give you a chance if there's any things you want to put on to Ask Wrexham, I've got to make a confession that before the match I was doing a bit of full-on fanboying because I walked into the press room, signed in, and standing in there was the comedian Mark Steele, who is absolute one of mine and Mrs. G's favourites. He does a brilliant show where he goes round to different towns called Mark Steele's In Town. It's available on the BBC's iPlayer, and it's as a podcast where he basically, yeah, he just does a half-hour routine about the town, about its history, and he's doing one about Wrexham. So I've been thinking for ages he needs to, and he's very, very good. He's very witty. And I saw him, I got awfully overexcited. I don't know who Channing Tatum is, but Mark Steele, whoa. So I went and shook his hand, and we had a lovely half-hour chat. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, that was a treat for me. It's a pity the football matches then come along and sort of spoiled my mood. But Neil Williams is here, and Neil doesn't spoil anybody's mood. The man himself, Captain Whitchurch, here to take your questions. And, immediately, though, sadly, he's electrocuted. He's been putting up electric fences round the sheep pen all week. Sorry, Neil. I don't mind, if you like. How are you, Neil?
Yeah, all right, thank you, Mark.
Excellent. Enjoying the game?
It's not a bad game, you know. Their keeper's been superb, you know. He's made 3 excellent saves, and they just caught us on that corner. The only chance they've had, and they've scored. So a little bit disappointing.
Well, Natalie here on Ask Wrexham saying we need a good reset at the break. I totally agree, but I think the reset for me is to get back to what we were doing before the goal, because we were on top, we were probing, and you know, I felt the goal was coming. Yeah,
we penned them in their own third of the field. You know, we kept putting the ball in the box, but they've defended very well, and their keeper's been, had one of the best games he's had for a while. I've got a couple of guys from Bristol Rovers sat next to me, and they're saying how well their keeper's done today. So, yeah, I mean, he's made only one top corner save was superb.
Yeah.
And after they scored, we went flat a little bit, and then we had a spell of then picking the game up again. But we're not making those chances again, Mark, now.
Yeah, that's right. It's right, like I say, it needs to go back to what we were doing because it was going well. And to be fair, Bristol Rovers are sticking to their game plan. They're wasting time, but they're not sitting deep. So the situation is still the same for us to try and exploit, draw players to us, get the switch in, and then hit them fast, as we were doing in the first half hour. I should say that goalkeeper is Jedward, the only player ever to play on the racecourse pitch who also has appeared in Eurovision, unless of course you all know better. I should point out to international fans who've been spared the Jedward phenomenon, firstly, can I just say congratulations, and secondly, they are two Irish twins who essentially have made a sort of career
of being awful singers.
Initially have been awful singers, that's quite right, because they went on, was it Britain's Got Talent or whatever, and they were like the comedy one that they keep in for a bit, but they've then since then gone on to be sort of like, well, they were reality show mainstays, weren't they, and essentially made a career out of being irritants, I would argue.
Irritants being the operative word.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway.
So look up Jedward, guys, and make your own decision from that.
Can I say, don't look up Jedward? This is just, that's time you could devote to something else in your life. I'm not dissenting, Neil, but life's too short. Here's one, and it was going through my mind. Rathbone's warming blanket says, half-time subs. Do you reckon?
I'm not sure. I've noticed that McLean's not out on the pitch with the rest of the guys at half-time, so whether it's too cold out there for him or he's getting ready to come on in the second half straight away, I'm not sure.
Mate, James McLean doesn't fear the cold fears James McLean.
Yeah.
I promise you.
So we may have that switch of Barnett coming off and McLean going on.
Well, Scar is having a proper warm-up, isn't he? They're giving him headers to practice rather than, the other three subs just knocking the ball around between him on the halfway line. So that's Marriott. Oh, interestingly, that's Marriott, Dobson and O'Connor looking like they're not going to be used anytime soon, which means Stephen Fletcher's not out there either.
Very true.
Which was why I was wondering, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wouldn't be what Wrexham want to do, because we've got another game coming up, of course, on Monday, and if you rotate the squad, you kind of want to, give those players a break, perhaps. But we may get 45 minutes of Stephen Fletcher, I feel. It's a real possibility, that.
I'm sure that's going through, Phil's mindset at the moment at half-time, maybe bring McLean, and he seems to be doing that rotation, doesn't he? Yeah, saying that, here they come out on the pitch, so whether they've had a talk and been told to come out and warm up, I don't know. So, normally it's the other way around. We have McLean starting and then Barnett comes on. So, I think he needs to make the changes sooner rather than later, more than likely. So, you can tell the fans in the stadium are getting very frustrated. Bristol Rovers are fighting for their lives, but we should be beating teams like this, who are close to the bottom of the table, but they're putting up a good fight, Mark.
My feeling, and I've got to be honest and say that I'm terrible at reading these sort of things, is that Scar's going to come on. That's why they're giving him a really thorough warm-up, but the other two have been told, if this doesn't change in 10 minutes, you're going to be on.
Yeah.
They've had a briefing and then they'll be on.
I'm assuming that Scar's going to come on for a Connell, because Connell went down with that injury just before half time. So that makes the obvious change, doesn't it?
The other point as well is that, where was it? There we are. A Lemon 13 says, since Sparky's in the stands today, can he go in the dressing room at half time to give the team a bit of encouragement? No, not allowed to, is he?
I'm not sure, Mark. I know he couldn't go down to the touchline, and couldn't go on the pitch after the game, but surely he's allowed to go into the changing room.
I'll check with Andy. Not that I recall him ever being in this situation. I thought not. I thought it's like you're not allowed to take part in the match sort of preparations. But I'll ask him. I'll ask Andy, see if he knows definitively.
I thought it was just a touchline ban, which...
Right. Fair enough. I'll have to do my research here. There was another point, which was a fair one by Davies King, because I was saying about the fans, don't be impatient, And he said, Mark, it's hard not to be impatient when you've been dominating time and play and are down 1-0. 100% agree. Absolutely correct. I'm not knocking the fans. It may sound like I am. I totally understand where it's coming from, but I'm just trying to look from the perspective of let's try and get behind them because there is a lot of time. That pass earlier on by O'Connell that he pulled out of play after he'd been there was all this noise, telling him to get on with it, and the midfield was static, and then the ball came back to him and he pulled out a play trying to force a play. It's too early to have to do that, and we did that against Stevenage when we lost.
Yeah.
It was Stevenage or Orient where we just started. No, Orient it was. We went behind.
Trying to force the situation.
There's no need. We look better than them. It's just that we let the goal in and we've not responded well by doing what we should be doing. I just think we need to reset quite right, as was said earlier, and go back to what we're doing at the start, and then we can take control again. And it's not unknown for football teams to score 2 goals and a half.
Oh, not at all. I mean, this team is quite capable of scoring a couple of goals, and we get back then to how soon do you bring Fletcher on again.
Yeah.
But I can understand the fans' frustration. Like I went to Wigan last Saturday, and the frustration there from the fans, you could feel it, and that passing onto the pitch as well, which and you can see it runs right through the pitch. So yeah, as you said, Mark, the fans need to get behind the team, but when you sat there as a fan, it's very difficult to get that motivation to start singing to get the team going. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's something that has to happen on the pitch there to get the fans to start singing in the stadium again. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I Dave, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate the frustration of the situation, and Neil is quite right. I'm just thinking, let's not get edgy too soon. Okay, we've gone behind.
And we've been behind before. We've come back, and that's what we need to do. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
If Parky's down in the dressing room at this moment in time,
who knows?
He'd be working out a plan of this is what we're going to do to get back in the game, and we've got the players out there quite capable of doing that. We've got especially if Fletcher comes on and maybe Marriott and making a big change. We don't need to be predictable. I mean, we've got to change it up that maybe Bristol Rovers not expecting, and because they're defending very well at the moment.
Interesting point here from Vic Schutz saying, I feel like other than for injury, this is the first time in a while that I don't feel we need to substitute early. Let them cook. I tend to agree, actually, in sense of if we start the half getting straight back on top as we were, then you think, okay, we're all right. But Fletcher's tempting, especially with 2 wingers on the pitch.
You nail nail on the head. Then we have to come back out first, second half, all guns blazing, and taking this game by the throat, and taking it right at Bristol Rovers, and getting an early goal.
I've got to say, regardless of whether Parkinson's in there or not as well, Steve Parkin, the assistant manager, is perfectly capable of being enthusiastic. I assure you, he's going to be beating the riot act, I'm sure.
On that note, Mark, I'm going to love and leave you, and I'll speak to you after the game.
Right, so nice one.
I'm on my own, so you're joining me as well.
Dayown?
Dayown is absolutely fine.
Dween Hoffy Coffee.
Dween Hoffy Tea.
Shocking. And with that, Neil disappears into the mist. A man of legend. Margot has... I love Margot's tweets, but I don't understand them at all. They're always full of words I don't know, because Margot does... Oh gosh, I don't even know. I'm going to call it a spin, because Margot has. Today's match watching spin. Then she says lots of words that I don't understand. There's weights and measurements, and the word bobbin is used in the wild. I like that. She then says she'll start coiling in the second half. Oh, don't take football that seriously. Okay, I used to, and my underwear bill was enormous. So let's see. Zach says at least the weather's nice. No, it's not. It might look nice because of the floodlights. It's horrible. It's coldish. It's wet. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this weather myself. Now then, here's the thing. And Andy, I know you're much too nice a chap to get into this situation, but Neil Williams and I have just been disagreeing on, is Phil Parkinson allowed to go in the changing room at half time? Oh, sorry.
I don't know is the answer.
Right, fair enough.
But because I didn't ever get a yellow card when I was a manager. I got it when I was a player a few times, but never sent off. But I would have thought he is.
Yeah.
Because he should be able to talk to his team to maybe restructure, to make substitutions and all that. And even if he wasn't able to go in the change room, they'd probably be able to broadcast him in from somewhere else. So, you know, Mourinho went in a little towel bucket, didn't he, or whatever. So I think he must be able to go in. He just can't affect on-field activities when he's... But he can, because he's just on a walkie-talkie or whatever, isn't he, saying, make a sub now.
Yeah, it's a rule that I think hasn't kept up with the times, has it, in terms of being able to influence. Are you pointing me at a big Owen O'Connell-shaped gap in the middle of our defence?
That's exactly what I'm pointing at, Mark. Yep, Dan Scarr just about to come on. Obviously Owen O'Connell not passed that fitness test that he would have had. Didn't look great. I think he was pointing to his knee towards the end of that first half. Big blow, but opportunity for Dan Scarr. You know, come in, has had a few opportunities here and there, but hasn't really been able to solidify his position in this team. But chance for him now.
Yeah, so he's in there. Like I said, his first league appearance since January. But let's be honest, he was one of the big signings when we brought him in. And, you know, he's got that championship quality. Here's a chance for him to step up. 3.5 games left of the season and make an influence. Here we go, big second half coming. I mean, Wycombe are drawing at Bolton, and I still strongly think, I mean, they're running. If they don't drop points, I mean, they deserve to go up, quite frankly.
Well, I just saw some stats of that game, and it was 66% to Bolton possession, but still 4 and 3 shots each. So they have their way of playing, and they do it ever so well.
No other changes at half-time, but something we discussed. It seemed interesting that McLean and Fletcher have just arrived together onto the bench. Didn't warm up for quite a while, whether they were told you will be coming on if the team don't start as they ought to. Well, Wrexham are getting on the front foot here. Want to throw in straight away on the right-hand side, 10 yards out. Barnett has the ball in his hands. Only Rathbone's really available. Rodriguez now makes a run. That's a lovely chest down looking for Barnett. Thomas does well. Steps across Barnett, runs it behind for the goal kick. Wrexham bright opening few seconds, but now you just got to keep that going, haven't you? Win the ball now from the restart. Get it forwards, get at them again, get the momentum going.
Yep, keep that fire in your belly that you've probably just got from that half-time break. I'm sure there were a lot of words of enthusiasm in there. But I have to say, I think Luke Thomas has done really well again on Ryan Barnett. Need to see more of him in this second half.
Longman early over the top, header clear isn't the best, and Wrexham in midfield. Rathbone wins it back. Barnett's done well to nip in ahead of Thomas. 2 men to beat though, and Thomas gets a foot in. That was good work. Wrexham want the free kick. For me, Thomas did ever so well. Sort of angle where you're liable to give away a free kick, but I think he did win it cleanly. And Brunt's header didn't have much accuracy because of Adonka's presence, which allows Shaw to come forwards. He's got Butcher outside him, and Lee tracks back well to get a foot in. Conquo picks her up.
Well, I think that's maybe your first example of a ball over the top that we would have normally seen O'Connell come and get. Obviously now Scarr on. Lewis Brunt does it this time.
Here's Sawyers in midfield. Nice little check out, but he runs into trouble. Smith tackles him. Lee goes past him. Great run by Lee. Feeds in Smith, who I didn't expect that. I think he may have just taken his eye off Lee, and Lee played a nice little reverse disguised pass and disguised it from Smith.
Well, I think he's played it to Rodriguez more, and Smith just found himself in the way of it. But we were able to get the ball back high up the pitch, and then we put a little bit of pressure on. Again, it's that little final ball, isn't it, that we just need to try and get right in this next 45.
Throw into Bristol Rovers. Wrexham at least started with a bit of a spark.
You've got to give this crowd something to get behind. You know, a tackle, a header, a chance, whatever it is. We've got to try and get something.
It's Lee.
Odd.
I think Lee's penalised for high kicking, I guess. He tries to make an overhead clearance. Certainly no intent, but his foot is high, so I can see the logic in it.
Now, when I was picking this team last night, and I was writing my bench out, the only problem with playing this team is that you're very restricted in the attacking options that you can put on to change a game if it hadn't gone so well. So Fletcher is definitely one, isn't he, that will add to the group if he goes on. But if you're adding a Dobson and a McLean maybe, they're not as attacking minded as the two that you may be bringing off. So it'd be really key to see if we can, with the group that we've got, can we get back in the game?
There was a time when Parkinson was picking 3 strikers on the bench, wasn't he? Which seemed a bit lopsided, but I guess addressing that as the free kick comes in from Shaw. Good header clear by Cleworth. So Scar rather. Now on the edge of the area, Rathbone has to scoop it. He's found Smith. Intelligent Smith nods it down. Longman's got space. Not many players keeping up with him, and Thomas takes him out. Well, they'll get booked for that, but you know, it should be his 3rd yellow of the match, shouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's lucky that he didn't get that one in the first half, in the first few seconds, wasn't it, really? But it's a really nice header on from Smith, just into that space for Ryan Longman to get onto. And I was just thinking, can he just knock one over the top? Probably takes the right decision, really. It's a difficult one if he does. And yeah, Thomas just goes right through him.
Well, he reads it, Thomas. Straight away, his first, I'm taking him out, regardless of how I'm going to do it. It's a definite yellow. But like you say, if he had been given a yellow for that first challenge on Barnett a minute in, then they're done.
Need to get at him, though, now on that yellow. Challenge him.
Clever free kick down the side. Rodriguez receives from Lee, pops it back. Lee in space now, 25 yards out, cuts onto his left foot, sweeps in the cross to the far post, headed wide from point blank range at full stretch. Smith just couldn't get his head round it, could he?
No, he's stretching for it. It's always a difficult one. I think Rodriguez maybe just in a difficult position for it as well. But well played by Wrexham, doing it quickly. What we've been asking for as well to get that, whip that ball in. Elliot Lee. It's a nice, just thinking it's going to end up in the back of that net, and he just can't quite get round it.
He just seemed to go up off the floor a little bit early, so he can't redirect it. Maybe a couple of other smaller steps, and he can get his head around the back of it. But as he jumps, he's up really early, isn't he? He can't change his trajectory.
Oh, he's so close in and just can't control it. Thomas taking his time over the throw-in. I don't mind him time wasting. Test the referee's resolve. Good tackle by Rathbone, throw-in. This time Thomas is leaving it, I think perhaps wisely, for Taylor to take. It's right in front of the Bristol Rovers bench. Taylor's taking his time as well. Throw down the line, flicked on nicely by Sotirio. Important foot in by Scar. Barnett drills long. Smith isolated up front, beaten in the air. And Rathbone misjudges as he tries to fly in and win it, and that allows Taylor to come forwards. And the ball is helped on Moore, the goal scorer, driving forwards purposefully down the right-hand side. Virtually carries it to Hunt and goes on the overlap. Hunt's pass gives an opportunity for it to be tidied up by Matty James, who I think's got the armband on in O'Connell's absence. Ball cleared, throws to Wrexham, left the edge of the box. Well, the Wrexham fans are rousing their team here.
Yeah, well, Andy was saying, couldn't these players give them something to get up about? That Sam Smith chance has definitely done that. Just need to back it up now, keep going, keep putting that pressure on Bristol Rovers, because you just feel like they won't be able to withstand it.
Exactly, you started well. Can we maintain this pressure? I must admit, I had a quick look then to see if Bolton had scored, and they don't seem to have done. Throwing then to Bristol Rovers in their own half. Moore throwing it down the line, firmly headed back by Longman. Smith chests it down. Sawyers is there, though. He's putting a good shift in the middle of the pitch, Sawyers. Ball played out to Thomas. Barnett quickly out to him, but Bristol Rovers happy to move it around in midfield. Taylor onto Wilson. Long ball by Wilson. Turns Brunt, but too much on it. So Conquo. Cleworth wants it early. Scar does too. Scar receives. So Scar deep in his own half. Cleworth available to his right. Receives it and immediately opens himself up and passes down the line. Barnett under pressure from, again, 3 Bristol Rovers players snapping away at him. They win the ball back. And like you said, Andy, he's not getting a chance to receive it running forwards. He's facing his own goal. Scar over the top. That's a tester for Smith, who brings it down well, edge of the area. He's got players inside him as he drops right. Swings to the far post. Longman attacks it. Good header by Hunt. The loose ball chased by Hunt. Lee gets there first, doesn't get the free kick. Throw into Bristol Rovers.
Well, it's the first time one of the long balls has hit Smith and got Smith. His touch takes him away from goal, really. But then off that longer ball, if you see that it's going to go, then can you get off the front of him? Can you get up with him to help him? We're just a little bit on our heels and sort of, oh, he'll be all right if the ball drops to him.
Stockport are losing at Peterborough. As Smith and Rathbone work, and Rodriguez does well, gets the free kick. It's in midfield. Chance for Wrexham again, though, to get height into the box. Charlton are drawing at home to Northampton, so this game's the problem. Rathbone standing on it. Bristol Rovers again holding a line outside the D. So a lot of space for Rathbone to look and exploit. It's a tense feel it looks like down in the away end as Rathbone signals dinks it in. And it's a good header into the goal by Scar. Rodriguez can't quite reach it. It's scrambled away. And that'll be a goal kick, to the astonishment of the Wrexham crowd. Although the Wrexham players aren't so strong in their descent.
Yeah, I thought it was a certain corner, unless he's given something else in there, I'm not too sure. But like you say, Wrexham players didn't really argue it, just getting back in, wanting to go again.
Well, Rodriguez nearly got there for a free header, 6 yards out, but couldn't quite reach it. Fletcher
Looked like they got in their way a little bit, you know, Rodriguez and Cleworth.
Long ball forward, Scar makes it his. Surely he's fouled. That's not given. James then surely climbs on a donker. That's not given. And Lee scurries through the middle and looks for Longman, just under hits it. There's good defending to step in by Hunt. Lee prods down the line. Longman will get there, and Sawyer's overcommits, but Longman hits the defender. Lee tries to launch it back in on the volley, mishits it. Good work to keep it going by Rathbone, though. Wrexham looking to pen Bristol Rovers in. Barnett's taking on Thomas. Shapes to go outside, then inside. Thomas forcing him to the corner flag. Throw to Wrexham. Cleworth's available. Barnett quickly throws it to him with a little air of foul throw about it. Rathbone moving it on into the middle of the pitch. Scar keeps it moving. Brunt on the left. The Wrexham crowd really getting up here. Longman running at Hunt again. Gets some pace up. Delivers in to the goal mouth. Smith jumps. Good take by Ward. I hate Jedward's. Good take that, isn't it? Full stretch back post. If he'd just got a hand to it and pushed it on, you'd have understood, but he held it well.
Yeah, but really good. Barnett 1v1, doesn't manage to get past Thomas. But then we were able to recycle the ball, though, out the other side. And Longman really drives at him, gets the cross in, but really good fast feet across his goal mouth to catch and pull it down.
As now Wrexham come forwards again, but a foul given against us. 12,740 is the crowd. 1,267 from Bristol. Like I said, the capacity's reduced a bit because part of the fourth wall stand's gone. Bristol Rovers with a free kick, again taking their time. The referee, I've got to say, had a couple of times in the first half said, oh, hurry up, as they chip a nice one over the top. Actually, Hunt, will he get there? No, not quite. Goal kick. You know, he's shown no sign in the second half of hurrying them up, and you know, I absolutely don't blame Bristol Rovers wasting time until he starts threatening to flash yellow cards around. You take your time. Scar to Cleworth, run over the top is a good one by Rodriguez. Cleworth looks at Smith, good strength, takes it well as it dropped behind him. So Smith, right hand side, nice little scoop past the Barnett. His cross is blocked though by Taylor. Rathbone now, level the edge area, right hand side, slips on the wet pitch, it does well to keep hold of the ball. Back to Scar, who again keeps it moving out to Brunt. Brunt helping it on again. Longman looking to cut inside, Hunt sticks to him. James to Rathbone, Cleworth is there on the right hand side, Barnett ahead of him, Cleworth delivers to the far post, too much on that. Longman will look to challenge for it. Poor touch there by Sawyers. Just about avoids giving away a really soft corner. But then Brunt gives away a soft free kick. Odonko waiting for the contact. Gets it. Bristol Rovers are going to get a sub on soon. And
well, we've just got to keep the ball speed as high as we possibly can. The slower we have it, the easier it is for Bristol Rovers to just shuffle and move. And then we've just seen that Cleworth gets a step in, gets a touch. He's always looking to put it in the box. And only Rodriguez and Smith in there. We've got to make sure that one of our centre mids, can our wing back? We've seen it before, haven't we? Barnett to McLean many times earlier in the season. We've got to make sure that our wing backs get in there as well.
Well, the changes have been made, a double change. And so it'll be Clinton Mola coming on for Thomas. And that'll be a straight swap. He's more of a defensive option. He can play centre-back as well. It's got to be said he had a stinker against us at Bristol Rovers. So can Barnett get at him? And Shaq Ford is going to come on. And he is inevitably replacing Odonka, who, as I said, has come back from 3 months of injury and isn't fit, really, to put in a full 90. He's worked hard up front. Thomas coming off. Well, like I said, Muller's a bit more of a defensive option, and also Thomas is a bit lucky to only have a yellow against his name. Inigo Calderon was given a lot of grief by Bristol Rovers fans when he took Odonka off when he was on a yellow card against Birmingham, as Wrexham looked to feed over the top, and Jedward has to be quick out of his box to clear. Knocked over the top Wrexham's defence, and it's helped on well. Threat here until Brunt's pace gets Wrexham out of trouble, and his hooked clearance falls to Rathbone, who drives through the middle. Smith wants it, the pass under hit. Smith looks to draw the free kick and is maybe unlucky not to get it from Moore. But here now is Sotirio on the left, having to go back to the halfway line. Fed over the top by Sawyers. Scar stoops and wins the header well. Throw in to Bristol Rovers on the halfway line, left hand side.
Yeah, I can't believe Ollie Rathbone's got that one wrong. Felt like he just had, a good bit of time, and he just underhits it really. He's got to fizz it in if he can to Sam Smith, or go out the other way. He had a few options in front of him.
Throw in taken, and Cleworth heads it partly away. Rodriguez helping in midfield, hooks it clear. Smith battling to try and get there. Is unlucky, I would say, to get penalised, pushing a man down, because he was blocked off by the two of them and couldn't get to the ball. But it's a free kick on the halfway line. And, well, Stephen Fletcher's walking back to the bench, it looks like, as is McLean. Dobson's just come back as well, and the notepad's out. Aidan Davidson might be preparing some paperwork here. Ironically, well, McLean's taken his bib off. Ironically, having brought a centre-back on, do we look to bring another centre-back off to go forward at the back, as Rodriguez is fighting for the second ball from the free kick. The ball looped in, Shaw to pour past to him, and he can't help it on. Cleared by Brunt and given away by Sawyers. That's a cute little ball down the line to Lees. Can't keep his feet. Good foot in by Longman, who played that initial pass, but Taylor intercepts. It's nice little ball down the right hand side now, and Hunt's got a chance to break. He's got 4 players attacking the box. He sweeps in a massive one to the far post, which is a corner, I think, is it? Yeah, just took a clip off a defender.
Yeah, just looking at a couple of recoveries when the ball went past them there. Elliot Lee just stretching out one of his legs. Ryan Longman on that left hand side, not really gritting in and getting back.
Fletcher and McLean are stripped off. They're not going to come on until we've defended this corner. So Butcher rips it into the same sort of area for the goal, but Brunt heads it firmly clear. Mola, edge of the D, gets a shot off, but he handled it. Rathbone tries to get the ball for a quick free kick. Referee's in his way, and here comes the double change. Fletcher and McLean. Oh, that's it, isn't, because we've taken a quick free kick. Interesting to see with McLean coming on as well. I mean, obviously having Longman and Barnett on at the same time is a very attacking move. Is Barnett off and Longman on the right as Scar and Brunt exchange passes. Bristol Rovers again, and not sitting deep there. Got 3 players up the pitch looking to put a bit of pressure on. Big diagonal from Scar is a nice idea, but Mola, like I said, can play centre-back, heads it out of play. And now those changes will be made, will they?
I just think, though, that diagonal ball into Barnett is an okay ball, but we've got to get people around him, because all Barnett's going to do is either head it back into play. Rathbone's got to get around him. Cleworth's got to know that that's happening. Yeah, I think that Longman comes across to the right, Barnett going off. McLean will go back to his left normal wing-back position.
And if we're able to get players around, as Rodriguez comes off as well, if we're able to get players around McLean for diagonals, he of course has the physicality to maybe get a more meaningful header in. So Fletcher up front for Rodriguez, McLean on the left for Barnett, with Longman switching to the right, and Longman's first act on the right will to take the throw in. Dobson goes to warm up as Longman throws it back to Cleworth. Again, Calderon, who's kicked every ball in this game, is telling his team to get out. Scar lifts a diagonal. That's a good ball towards McLean, who takes it well and wins a corner. And they, the crowd now getting infused. You can see it across the whole pitch. Okonkwo immediately sprinted 20 yards to be up on the halfway line, because Wrexham are throwing bodies forward. Nobody back in the halfway line. Everyone back in the box for Bristol Rovers. So an in-swinger from the left-hand side. Rathbone having a look. Is told to wait because the Bristol Rovers player is on the floor. Perhaps in no great rush to go and sort her out. So, in-swinger. Rathbone signals. 65th minute. Swings it into the near post. Good header, clear that. It'll come back out, and James is quick to get there. Back to Rathbone, level the edge of the area. Finds McLean round the outside. Stands it up under the bar. Fletcher just beaten to it. Good defensive header that by Sawyers. Wrexham keep the ball. Longman slips, but stands it up again into the box. Headed across to the offside flag as it hit the post anyway, and the rebound went in from Fletcher, but the flag was up early as it was swept into the far post. It was actually Scar who got the header in. But well, McLean immediately, and Fletcher's presence, have certainly raised the crowd and given Bristol Rovers something to think about.
Yeah, and I think Scar's done well so far in the second half. Had some really good balls. That one that led to the corner then was an absolute beauty of a pick out. So if he can keep doing that, we're going to find joy.
There's a lot of physicality come off the bench already with those three, isn't there? Here's Scar in the air against Satiri, who wins it well. Hooked on now, Smith chases this. A flag stays down, does it? Yes, it does. Keeper was very cool, stayed in his box rather than come out, and judged it perfectly. Just got that header, Smith. That was bold goalkeeping.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Does Smith maybe think he is offside? A little bit. It's a really difficult ball to get on the end of. I think it's always favouring Ward in goal.
The way that Ward threw his hands out, I think he may have thought Smith was offside. It could have been a very costly misjudgment. Cleworth stands up the diagonal. Fletcher attacks it and helps it on well. Smith backing in, can't quite get there ahead of Taylor. Moore takes a heavy touch but manages to flick it beyond Longman, who came on the blind side. Moore slices it out of play, but immediately Calderon is applauding their intent, the way they tried to pass it out from the back. 67th minute. Scar sweeping it across to the left-hand side. Wrexham have played part of their hand. Can we get that breakthrough? Charlton still drawing. Wickham are winning. Long ball to Fletcher, gets it well. Heads it up in the air rather. It's helped partly clear. Rathbone is there. Miscontrols. Has to go back to the halfway line. So Wickham are taking a lead at Bolton. Peterborough still beating Stockport. Here's Cleworth on the right now. Longman offers. Lets a nice ball back in to Cleworth. James now in midfield. Sweeping it across accurately to Brunt. McLean's dropped deep to receive. It goes inside instead. Rathbone, Wrexham looking to move it around the midfield and not shifting Bristol Rovers mid-block though. So Scar goes for another diagonal. Mola is beaten in the air by Longman, and it's hooked away by Taylor, away from the keeper, who would have come and taken it. Throw to Wrexham, level the edge of the area, right-hand side. Longman dries the ball on his shirt. Cleworth is available, but Scar's going to go up instead. Longman's going to look to propel one in. He's at the end of his run-up. Steps up. Hurls it in, and it's not got enough on it at all. Headed away easy by Mola. Picked up by Brunt. Quick ball out to the right. Longman again now. Chance to run at his man. Little step over. Pulls it inside. Lee floats it into the box. Dangerous ball. Smith gets his head to it. Goes across the face. Longman attacks it. Keeps it in. And a foul given against him, which... That's a big call by the ref. It surely was a goal because he pulled it back into an empty goal mouth. But free kick given against Longman. That's a big call by the ref.
Yeah, it's massive. And we're just waiting to see it back. But he's obviously going in at pace, Ryan Longman. I don't think he touches him at all.
Ooh.
Well, even the pullback, though, doesn't go to one of us anyway. So
yeah. It was the sort of thing I've got to be honest, I really don't like seeing defenders do, where you feel the contact and you go down in the goal mouth. You've taken a hell of a risk there, but Taylor got the decision. It was Longman's initial cross and Smith headed it down well. Longman did ever so well to challenge for it. Now Smith finds Fletcher nicely, helps it inside to Elliot Lee. He's got an option outside. McLean now, lots of bodies in the box already. McLean sets himself, but his cross is pulled straight into a defender. Goes back to him. And McLean with the outside of his foot. Works it back to Scar, quickly across to Cleworth. Cleworth helps it onto Longman. Mola slips and Longman cuts inside, chips it in to the edge of the area. Lee does well to win the header, but it drops kindly for Hunt, who drives it clear. Now, that's not a drive clear, it's a good ball to Shaw. For the moment, it's 3-on-2. As there is, it's a chance to break forwards. Neat return pass to Shaw, tries long-range shot. Easy for Okonkwo to take. The two strikers staying at the pitch. Okonkwo doesn't deliver straight away.
Yeah, I just thought that Ryan Longman cross into the box could have been better again. I just think he takes the wrong option, almost sort of tries to chip it in. Just need to be a little bit more direct, get a bit more on it.
Scar at the back, 70th minute, still 1-0 to Bristol Rovers. As Scar sets himself, right-footed diagonal, looking for Fletcher. McLean's gone beyond, Fletcher flicks it on outside. And looks around, and I think maybe he was aware of where Fletcher was, McLean was, and touched it in the wrong direction, not knowing McLean made run his blind side.
Yeah, I think that's what Fletcher's saying, is that if I head it inside towards goal, I've got Smith there. You don't need to be on the inside of me, stay on the outside of me. We always said when we were paid in a pair that if we're ever going to flick it on, I was always going to try and aim for goal. Even if I was on the halfway line, I'm going to try and flick it towards goal, so you roughly know if I do make a decent contact on it, you know roughly where I'm trying to put it.
Grant Ward has come on. I just noticed on the team sheet he's down as Gavin Ward. It's not Gavin Ward, the ex-Wrexham goalkeeper. So Grant Ward comes on. Didn't catch who went off actually, but the throw-in's taken. He's gone straight into midfield. And Wrexham was a real scrap for it. In the end, I think sensibly Brunt just drills it into his own half because there was no other real option. Is it Shaw who, I can't see Shaw out there. Shaw, a young player, has been getting subbed just to reduce the strain on him. Wrexham moving around at the back. Bristol Rovers still with an eager press. Nice ball inside by Rathbone. Cleworth cuts it back to James on the halfway line. James across to Longman. Pops it back first time to Rathbone. I want to see Longman turn and do this. Run at Mola. He delivers to the far post. Fletcher gets up, heads it over the bar. That was a huge, huge chance. Corner given.
Good save. Like you said, you'd rather have Longman going at the fullback, and he does. He just creates himself that little space with the pass that he does, and then it's a brilliant ball in. Fletcher on the other side of him, heads it down, heads it too well, down into the ground, and bounces up. Good save.
A hell of a good save. Didn't realise he got a touch on it when it's down and up like that. That's a superb save. McLean rips it in flat to the near post, and it's another corner, is it? No, ref's given a goal kick. Again, Wrexham not happy. Smith attacked the near post, tried to back heel it towards goal. He thought it had got blocked behind. The ref said not. George Parkinson, I'm going to take a punt that he is the go-between, because that's the second time in 5 minutes I've seen him sprinting to the bench. And George Dobson is going to come on. Goal kick will be taken first. 73rd minute, it goes straight out of play. Dobson is making his way down and the board is readied, but Cleworth understandably is taking a quick throw. Dobson's going to get some instructions anyway. from Parkin. Rathbone on the halfway line, right-hand side. Scar. Longman wants it delivered over the top, and Scar wants it his right foot to diagonal to the left, though. Here he is, working it across to Brunt. Dobson waits on the sides of the pitch. Scar once more. Wrexham being patient, and Bristol Rovers, like I said, in their mid-block, daring Wrexham to come forward. Well, Brunt does really well until he's taken down from behind, and that looks like it's going to be a yellow card, is it? The ref's wandering slowly across, and yeah, yellow card is delivered to Shaq Ford. So free kick in midfield. Bristol Rovers sending everyone back except Ford. Dobson not coming on yet. Rathbone stands over it. Scar and Cleworth being picked up at the back by Butcher. It's played towards them. Scar gets it well, heads it down. Brunt, edge of the area, walks into a tackle. Rathbone tries to attack it and can't quite get there first. James with an interception on the halfway line, and he has to win the ball because he stopped. He thought he couldn't get there. Sloppy ball by McLean, and Wrexham in trouble here. Ford available in the middle. Crucial covering back by Longman. Back over on the left after the game lost all shape following the set piece. McLean volleys it clear. Fletcher can't get to it. Still Dobson waits. Ball rolls out of play. And Bristol Rovers player just suddenly goes down like he's been shot. There was no contact on him. Doesn't mean he's not hurt. Crowd didn't like that. But anyway, here comes the change. And it's going to be Dobson for Brunt. Tactical. 4 at the back now.
Yep, I don't think it'll be long before we see Marriott. Nothing changes. But yeah, Bristol Rovers just trying to kill the game a little bit. Just a bit more time wasting. But Wrexham just need to get on that ball. Try and be a bit more direct, I think. Just try and get one of those midfielders to get a bit closer to those strikers. I think at times they're way too deep. Just leaves us such a big gap.
Well, Lee now will be fitting in, hopefully, behind those two strikers, in a position to do exactly that as Wrexham knock it forwards, headed away comfortably. Scar wins it and heads it on again into the Bristol Rovers half, and Moore feeds it back to his keeper. Ward drills it long through the middle. Lovely take by Satirio. Can't quite find a teammate on the turn though. So Cleworth inside to James, lifts it looking for Longman, and he'll get that. A good ball. Mollers tight on his back as Longman has got Dobson in support. Dobson playing on the right of the diamond. Lee wants it, gets it edge of the area. He's marked by Sawyers, feeds it quickly back to Longman, chance to cross, digs the ball into the 6-yard box, headed part clear, driven in. Yes! Wrexham pull one back, the 76th minute, and Matty James, a great finish, and he wheels his arms, telling the crowd to get on their feet. The stand-in skipper now, O'Connell's off. What a calm finish that was.
Yeah, and listen to that let-off in the Stoke Kairas. It's a great finish, great technique from Matty James. What a little goal that is. He's demanding more now. They need to go again, Wrexham.
It's the first touch. But what they do is they play Elliot Lee. First time they've done it into that hole. It drags the defender out from that back three, which creates the hole for then James to go into. And his first touch off the side of his thigh is just beautiful into his path. And then he doesn't try and smash it. What he does do is he just places it into that bottom corner.
Longman looking long, doesn't find Fletcher, although I like the way that both Fletcher and Smith ran so easily into the channels there. More accurate pass, and we'd have opened Bristol Rovers up. 13 minutes left. 1-1. It's not enough. As Scar plays another big diagonal, gets that wrong. To be fair to Scar, though, he's been getting those right, hasn't he? That's a really good finish. Not just the calmness, but also the way he's dug it out when it drops.
Right underneath his feet as well. He just punches it with a side foot. Just places it into the bottom corner.
Long clearance by Ward. Scar wins it despite being buffeted. Pass forward by Longman's inaccurate. Lee immediately is hassling. Well, Mia said, get the ball to players supporting the strikers. And Lee was in that position, was fed in well by Dobson, and Wrexham opened Bristol Rovers up. Here they come now, but overhit ball then. And now Okonkwo is urged to play early, and he does. 3 centre-backs watching Fletcher and Smith. Fletcher backs in, good header clear by Moore. Sawyers is discomforted by Lee, but manages to retain possession well. Butcher wants movement ahead of him. Put under pressure by Dobson, chips it straight to Cleworth. Is this change of shape just catching him out a little bit? You know.
Well, we've gone to Diamond.
Yeah.
With Dobson on one side, Rathbone on the other, James at the bottom, and Lee in behind those front two. I certainly think so.
I just thought then Butcher and Sawyers were managing to get a bit of space when they want to come forwards, but then Butcher takes so long because Dobson's on him straight away. We've got that extra body in the middle, and all of a sudden we're able to pick him up man for man and cause some problems as McLean. Is that a foul? No, it's a throw in against him. He's furious about that. Throw to Bristol Rovers, level the edge of the area, right hand side. They've got another. Oh no, sorry, I thought they had another sub ready. It's Shaw actually. He's not put a tracksuit on. 11 minutes plus added time. You'd think the ref should add a loss, but then he hasn't really looked like he's going to do much for time wasting. Throw-in is well dealt with by Rathbone. Unorthodox, goes to ground, heading it away from about shin height. And now the ball is in midfield of Bristol Rovers. Rathbone sprinted out length of the pitch, but pressure on the ball. It's fed out, and Shaq Ford lays it inside, gives it to Dobson, and he drills a good early ball for Smith. Fletcher on the run. Crucial intervention by Wilson, because Fletcher run in behind the defence. As Cleworth now does well to sort his feet out after it got stuck between his feet and gets the ball back. Okonkwo long, Fletcher touches it on, Smith on the chase. He just arced round a bit to give an angle for his run, and he can't quite beat Wilson to it. James, good strength, too strong for Sawyers, good early ball. Fletcher on the left, Smith in the middle. Oh, he tries to pull it back. Smith done brilliantly to keep it alive. Rathbone squares it. Matty Jones, the fans down to shoot. On his right foot, he sweeps it out instead to Longman, who's got Moeller isolated. Takes him on his right foot, rips it in the box. Good defending. It's hooked behind for the corner. Smith was after that. That was a hell of a cross.
So much better from Wrexham, isn't it? Just that intensity that we've been lacking. Does so well. It's a nice little idea from Fletcher originally. Finds Smith. I thought he might have gone down, to be honest, just because he got to the ball first. But another opportunity from the corner.
So corner, right hand side. Rathbone will take. Wickham still winning. Charlton are winning now as well. Stockport still losing. Rathbone spots her up, but this is what matters. Rathbone with the away swinger. He signals. Sweeps it with height beyond the far post. Lee heads it back in. Defender gets a touch. It's in the goal mouth, and Ward gets there first. Oh. It was just, if somebody could have just got there, man.
It's just bounced in the 6-yard box. You think it's just asking for a toe in. And no such joy.
Here's Fletcher now up front, holds it up well. As he pulled down, yes, free kick to Wrexham. Just outside shooting range.
Well, it's there for us, this, isn't it? Bristol Rovers looking ragged, a bit disjointed, probably a bit tired. But Wrexham need to take full advantage of it. Got the momentum now, got to just get that ball in the back of the net.
Free kick then. Rathbone is over it. Bristol Rovers hold the line on the edge of the area. 8.5 minutes left. Rathbone stands at the end of his run. Another change is ready for Bristol Rovers after the set piece. 2 double change being prepared, in fact. Referee, he eats time up on set pieces, doesn't he? Rathbone floats it in, looking for Cleworth. Moeller gets ahead to it first. It'll be attacked on the right side of the box by Dobson, who puts it back in. Stabbed clear. Picked up by Longman on the right. He stands it straight back into the far post. Fletcher back pedals, brings down the chest. Gacklin to his left foot, hits the goal line, holds his man up well, pulls it back to McLean, who shapes the cross, then cuts inside. Fletcher backheels it back to McLean. Great defending to block that as McLean looked to rip it in, and it's kept in by Ford. Sawyers laying it back as a Bristol Rovers player down in the box. Referee's not interested. Longman beats his man going through the middle. He's got an option out wide, finds Dobson. 2 men in the middle. Dobson's cross is blocked by Moeller. Back to Dobson. Moeller will get there first though and launches it clear. Through to Wrexham. Phooey.
Well, catch your breath, Mark, while you can. 'cause he is going to stop it. I think is it a head injury? It's one of those Bristol Rovers back line.
Yeah, I mean, it was Hunt, I think, who went down, but he didn't stop it for the head injury.
No, I thought he was holding his face, but then he sort of went to get back up, wasn't sure. I think Bristol Rovers did have the opportunity to put it out and seemed to keep it in, so then Wrexham obviously still went for it.
Hunt is obviously a really well brought up boy who wants to waste time and pretend he's hurt, but he couldn't quite bring himself to do it. Scott Sinclair is going to come on for Soterio. Well, there's a heck of a lot of experience for Bristol Rovers to bring on. I mean, part of the frustration for them is that they did spend big in the summer, but it hasn't really worked out. And that goes back to what I said at the start of the game about the wisdom of Rob and Ryan bringing in experienced people. And the other substitution is going to see Hutchinson come on. Isaac Hutchinson. Jack Marius is ready as well. Romain Sawyers will come off. He's worked very hard in the middle of the pitch. So Hunt isn't taken off, but obviously he does have to go off the pitch now. And it is his face, it seems, that's being treated. So there has Steve Smith comes off. Marriott comes on. Actually, Smith is getting... No, it's Lee who's coming off. So we are going to go all out here. 3 strikers up front. Lee gets, quite rightly, a good round of applause. I think he's had a really good game, hasn't he? Looks back to himself.
Yeah, he's worked hard, and I completely agree with that. Looks back to himself. You know, hasn't quite been at it many times so far this season, but has still got a really good number of goals to his tally. And again today, put in the hard graft, done well, made some really good incisive passes. Just that bit of difference, isn't he, in that middle of the park for us, could be so vital as we go into the last few games.
Longman back to the halfway line. Those substitutions must have taken about 2 minutes. James hooking it forward. Smith gets up, can't win it. Dobson's after it, does well to win that though. And Smith is challenged. Ball squirts wide and Rathbone has to race back to the halfway line and feed it back. Scar drilling a good ball to Fletcher, receives it neatly. McLean's outside him. He's got players in the box though and drills it in. Defender takes Jason Smith. Longman, awful touch. He's still there, hits it. Ricochets and the flag goes up against Marriott. Oh, Longman's got to have a better touch than that, hasn't he?
Yeah, you expect it as well because he's brilliant on his first touch, especially when he's going 1v1. He just gets it a bit heavy. He knows he wants to get it out of his feet to be able to hit the second shot. The second touch, but it just bounces off a bit heavy. But it's all Wrexham.
Absolutely. And there should be a chunk of time to add on. There's 4.5 minutes of the 90 left. Long goal kick. Longman judges it well. Throws to Wrexham just inside their own half on the right. Cleworth back to the edge of his area. Okonkwo makes an angle for Scar and receives it. So look at what we're looking to do with the front 3. And it's essentially 3 big blokes through the middle. Smith maybe ostensibly.
Yeah, I think Smith is just off.
Yeah. Fletcher, well, obstructed surely as he looks to get to the ball and can't. And then a free kick is given against Marriott, who is livid, as is the Macron stand. The Bristol Rovers again will take their time over this. I just hope Wrexham players are in the ref's ear constantly saying, look at the time they're taking, mate. Because again, he's showing no sign of telling players to hurry up. 3.5 minutes left now. Long ball straight out of play. McLean jumps off the pitch, catches it, and wants to get the play going again straight away. Fletcher is available down the line, and he is the target. He gets up and flicks it on meaningfully. Marriott just beaten to it by Wilson. Nice ball around the corner by Sinclair. Ford's touch lets him down. Good tackle by Scar. Throw in the halfway line to Bristol right-hand side. 3 minutes left. Wrexham looking for this most precious goal. Will be thrown down the line by Hunt. Good header clear by McLean. Marriott turns well but loses balance and is tackled. Ball's worked wide. Taylor does well to drive away from Smith. Dobson forced him to play it wide. Moeller sets himself as he's got 3 players in the box. Pulls it back to Taylor. Helps it on again. It's kept moving. Now Hutchison chips the ball in to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed towards goal and just wide. That was a half chance, that. Hutchinson who got up and headed it.
Well, we're really deep. When the ball comes into the box, we're virtually on our 6-yard box. Got to make sure that when we're now a 2, that we work that striker that's in there.
The Conco's goal kick is put straight back in the Wrexham half. Ford tries to turn again. Scar's had a good second half, and he draws the foul. Free kick to Wrexham, taken quickly by Scar. McLean back inside. Bristol Rovers have got 5 players in the Wrexham half, and Wrexham have bypassed them. Rathbone lifting it. Good run by Smith, who'll receive it left side the box. Good work by Taylor, just leaning over him, gets a touch and forces him wide. McLean now pulls it back. Rathbone on his left foot, drills it in, takes a deflection, headed away. Brought down in the middle of the pitch by James. Lovely work by James, really controlled it nicely. Cleworth now has got Longman out wide, ostensibly been at right back. Oh, and is he caught by Moeller? Yeah. Yeah, I say ostensibly right back, but in actuality, he's playing as a right winger, isn't he, as Wrexham throw bodies forwards.
Yeah, absolutely, which pins in Moeller, he can't get out.
So, Rathbone again to take the free kick, right-hand side. Longman is still lurking around there. Rathbone's going to deliver, surely. Scar is beyond the far last defender now. Fourth official is ready with his board. He's a bit premature if it's for time added on. There's another minute left here. Ref gives the go ahead. Rathbone whips it. He's pulled that. Moeller heads it away easily. Dobson brings it down. Feeds it left straight away. McLean has lots of bodies to aim at and puts it into the box. Goes over the head, though, of Cleworth. Rathbone has it. Bristol Rovers stuck in their box now. Dobson cuts inside, beats his man nicely on his left foot. It's always going wide. You know, I mean, fair play for his drive, but what we've seen this year of Dobson shooting, I don't think that's the percentage option.
No, but it opened up for him, didn't it? And the last couple of crosses before that, we couldn't find a red shirt, so I think his eyes have just lit up. But he just gets it wrong, doesn't he? Just as fourth official's about to put up that board, everyone's eyes is on him.
Ward switches sides 4 minutes. Well, he hasn't added time on for time wasting, has he? And, well, Rathbone threw his hands up angrily. Scar now beats Sinclair in the air. Smith gets it well, flicks it on. Marriott's unlucky, tries to flick it past man, can't quite. Smith gets a aggressive challenge in, a Rathbone rather, free kick given. And Bristol Rovers can waste the time further. And like I say, I don't blame them in the slightest. If, you know, they've been given no real indication from the referee that he wants them to hurry up, so they haven't.
Well, they took about 4 minutes for the last 3 substitutes, didn't they? It took ages.
They're taking a eternity over this free kick as well. As finally Taylor stands it up. McLean will challenge in the air, gets up too early and misses it completely. Hunt is there, taking on McLean by the corner flag. Will he keep it in there perhaps? He tries a little pivot and sweeps a good cross in. Dobson's back there, heads it clear, but it's helped straight back into Ford. It goes round the outside, goes down in the box, and the ref has given the goal kick. And I think he's right. I think it was shoulder to shoulder, but there was contact.
Yeah, he takes a risk, doesn't he? But he does get it right, I think, as well. But wow, obviously Bristol Rovers fighting for their lives, aren't they? That would be a massive 3 points if they could get something out of this.
Fletcher can't win the ball cleanly from the restart. Since going free up front, we've not really got that much going. McLean's clearance is blocked. We need some momentum. We're into the second of the 4 minutes already. Ball fed forwards, driven clear. Great lunging clearance by Matty James. Ricochets back in the Wrexham half. Cleworth goes long, easy for Moore to deal with. Beckham and Taylor to deal with. A slip in midfield for Hutchinson allows Dobson to pick it up, and he quickly helps it on. Rathbone has got McLean outside him. 3 players in the box, 4 now. McLean coming at his man, stands it up. Dobson heads it into the goal mouth, headed clear. Dobson blocks the clearance. Rathbone back in. Bristol Rovers fighting like hell, defending their box. Cleworth height of the pitch, helps it on. James tries to hit a shot and catch the keeper out, and puts it off target. Again, not the percentage option. Great if they work.
Yeah, we're just a little bit narrow. Our middle 3, aren't we? We're right on each other's toes, really. There's no space to move into, and it's just not falling when we're dropping it into that box to one of the red shirts.
Just need to see if on those crosses in, can we find Stephen Fletcher? Just feel like he's the one we need to hit.
Goal kick taken, 90 seconds left of the added time. Morrell wins it in the air, puts it out. Cleworth sprints across to fetch it for the throw in his own half. Is there one more moment in this for Wrexham? Cleworth headed clear by Morrell. Bristol Rovers have done well on the second balls the last 10 minutes or so. Rathbone hooks it over the top, cleared. Now then, Dobson, lovely take. He's got McLean in space. He looks to play the killer ball, and James points out to say no, play it wide. McLean was in acres of space. I mean, if it worked, it'd be glorious, but he overhit it horribly.
Well, you can see what he's tried to do, just a little reverse pass into Fletcher. Just overhits it.
Ward kicks through the middle. Longman stoops, heads it down nicely. Well taken by Rathbone. Marriott wants it, has played in behind him. Smith wants an early ball, it's on. Marriott sets himself and crosses instead, straight into the hands of the keeper. I mean, he took responsibility and came for it, but Smith had made a great run inside him, I thought.
Yeah, I think if he'd seen it a bit earlier, he could have played Smith, who's in the box then, and anything can happen. Decides to choose for the cross. It's not a bad one, but keeper's been excellent for me, Ward. No chance with the goal, but really safe pair of hands.
Yeah, absolutely. As Ward hits a massive Glyn Sinclair's after this, Okonkwo will get there. There's 5 seconds left. Okonkwo has to launch it long. Smith and Marriott are after it. Smith backing in. Good defending. It's cleared. And the ref adds nothing on whatsoever to the meagre 4 minutes that he adds on. And Bristol Rovers have come here and dealt Wrexham a huge blow. We draw 1-1 at home to Bristol Rovers. Bristol, who had lost their last 6 games, to be fair, didn't shape up like that. They played with a positivity that you have to applaud, considering the situation that they're in and the run of form that they're in. They really looked to avoid dropping too deep. They pressed us quite hard, but Wrexham will still be very frustrated that we weren't able to get more than 1 goal past them. The real key moment for Rovers after Wrexham had dominated the first half came with a set piece. Butcher ripped it in beautifully, and Moore with a great flick header scored. The first goal, amazingly, Wrexham have conceded on a Saturday since the 1st of February, but that's no consolation, as Wrexham then in the second half really tried to go for it. We ended up with 3 strikers up front in Smith and Marriott and Fletcher. Got the equaliser in the 76th minute, a terrific finish by Matty James, who did so well to control an awkward ball edge of the area and dig out a calm finish inside the right post. And we kept pushing on, but Ward, who when it was 0-0 made a couple of superb saves, continued to be excellent. Fletcher had the best chance when it was 1-1. A free header at the far post, powerfully headed downwards. Ward somehow managed to get a hand up and get enough contact on it to touch it over the bar. But ultimately, this on paper, Wrexham's easiest game in the last 4, and we have dropped 2 points. That is rather simplistic. Wycombe have gone 2-0 up as well at Bolton, so they will be into the top 2. Still lots to play for, because their running is horrible, but that's a hell of a result, going 2 up at Bolton. Wrexham, well, not long till we can try and make amends, going to Blackpool and hoping to get back on winning ways, which we must. But Wrexham held at bay, and Bristol Rovers have a hell of a lot of credit for the way that they went about their business. They didn't sit deep, they fought in midfield, they pressed with energy, and ultimately Wrexham just couldn't create enough clear-cut chances, couldn't create enough opportunities that they were able to really work Ward with, despite the fact that he did make 3 fine saves. So final score, frustratingly from the race course, of Wrexham 1, Bristol Rovers 1. We've been Mark Griffiths, Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell from Wrexham AFC.